Hello everyone, welcome to another video. My name's Ben Lister. Welcome back to my podcast video versions. And today's guest is episode 2 of the podcast radio show. It's a podcast I did back in February with radio's very own Sean Goldsmith. So yeah, he chats a bit about radio, a bit about his time on Greatest Hits, a bit about his time on the radio back in the day, all different variety and autism and why he loves radio and his inspirations in radio. So yeah, please like, comment and subscribe. If you don't like it, dislike or unsubscribe if you're already subscribed and you don't like this sort of content. But yeah, here's the Sean Goldsmith interview now here on my YouTube channel. So yeah, here it is.
Hello everyone, welcome to another podcast. It's 2021, we are in lockdown. It's time to welcome you back to the Ben Lister Podcast Radio Show, Season 2, Episode 2. I have lots of big guests on the show. In my last episode, I spoke with broadcasting legend Stephanie Hurst. And today, we have the one, the only, Sean Goldsmith. Hello Sean, welcome along today.
Thank you very much, Ben. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Another legend on my list.
I wouldn't go that far, but yes, it's been a long time since I started on the radio, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should get called a legend. I think your legend was last week with Stephanie Hurst, really.
Well, you're all legends to me. You're all some of my heroes from the past, you see, because I'm a big fan of radio. I love radio. And yeah, I'm just passionate about it, want to learn more about it, and that's really it, really. And that's why I'm here learning from a maestro like yourself.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
And that's great. How are you today anyway?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I've not got a lot to do today, so I'm just chilling out. It's cold, so I'm just going to keep warm and not do a lot today.
And are you, and as I always say to my guests, are you ready to rumble in the jungle?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Let's get on with it then. Question one.
Let's rumble, right.
Question 1. Where did you start your broadcast career?
I started on hospital radio in 1988, and I started full-time radio professionally in 1993 at Leicester Sound, which is a station that isn't there anymore because it was merged into East Midlands Capital about 15 years ago now. But I started there. I started doing just jobs around the office. I remember one of my jobs was looking through the newspaper for the breakfast show Guy Kenny. And then I just got involved more with the technical side. And then eventually I got asked if I would like to fill in on the sports show in 1991.
Wow, that's a good start to your career. I like to see how different presenters, different journeys have happened, because it's good to see how different presenters have gone down different pathways in their careers.
Well, it's always nice because I'm from Leicester originally, so every presenter will obviously tell you that they want to be on in their hometown where they grew up, the station they listened to when they were growing up. So to actually work on it and actually get a job on it full time, which I did in 1993, it was like the dream had come true. If I'd have only done Leicester Sound for that year and I'd never done radio again after that, I would have been happy with that. That was what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's good that you've done it, and you've ticked that box off, and you've ticked that achievement off.
Yeah, been very lucky. Not everybody gets the opportunity, and I was very blessed that I managed to do it.
Yeah. Question 2. Who were your inspirations in broadcasting growing up?
Simon Mayo. When I was growing up, I used to love listening to Radio 1. And Radio 1 was full of presenters at that time that they were like proper DJs, if you like. But then this guy came along, Simon Mayo, who just talked to me. He was just chatting and he just seemed so normal. And I really connected with Simon Mayo. And he was the inspiration behind me wanting to do hospital radio. And it literally all started with him. And the nice thing was, I actually came second in the Hospital Radio Awards, early 90s, I think it was. And Simon Mayo was the judge. And to have him judge and like me was it was really good at that time. But yeah, it was Simon Mayo for me all the way. I just loved what he did. He was just normal. He talked normally. He was funny without trying to be funny. And yeah, huge fan and still am.
As you say, I like another Radio 1 DJ called Tony Blackbear, and he's one of my biggest inspirations. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting him or...
No, sadly not, no.
He's a bit of a legend, Tony Blackburn, because he used to present on Radio 1 back in the day, and I used to like his talking and also Sir Terry Wogan as well from Radio 2. Yeah. He had Terry the one amazing. Heart. And also, nowadays, there's only really a good presenter on Radio 2. No disrespect to the others, is Ken Bruce, because he's unique in his own way.
Yeah, very much so. I'm a big fan of Ken Bruce. I also don't mind Claudia Winkleman, to be honest with you. I think she does a fairly good show on Radio 2. I'm just a fan of Claudia Winkleman, but I think she does a fairly good show.
Yeah. Question 3. What is your favourite part about the job?
I like the job because it's kept me from doing a normal job for 30 years. I did have a normal job when I was 16, 17. I worked in a warehouse. And then I obviously got into radio when I was about 20. And it's just been a beautiful lifestyle that you can just go as you please, really. Of course, you have to do your radio show. You have to work hard, but to be paid to prepare and then present a radio show is just, a really beautiful thing. So I've loved the job for every aspect, really. But now that I'm not in radio full time, for the first time since 1993, I really appreciate it even more now, because you do sort of take it for granted a bit that when you're in it, but it's just the lifestyle that it gives you and the freedom to just be yourself. And doing breakfast shows for 20 years like I did, I used to do the breakfast show, and then I would have the rest of the day free to do as I please, go and do a bit of living. And so I've got things to talk about on the next day's breakfast show. It's been a real pleasure to be able to do the job for that amount of time. And that, I'd say that would be my favorite part, because it's just almost like an escapism from real life, really.
My favorite part of the job is because I don't like broadcasting from home very much, but I've had to adapt to it due to the COVID at the moment. But I like going down to the studio and being in the studio, just talking to the viewers and doing the musical links, because I don't really like doing it at home, because I like being in the soundproof studio with guests to talk to.
That's something I actually tweeted last week on my Twitter feed, that the one thing I miss about radio is the radio station itself. It's not the same working from home. And the buzz of walking into a radio station, because all radio stations have got their own unique character. They've got their own unique smell, most of them. And just driving to a radio station, getting out the car, going in, and it's just a unique atmosphere in total. I really miss that, to be honest with you. Who knows when it might come back, but working from home underneath the stairs isn't quite the same.
Would you ever work for the BBC if you could? BBC local radio.
With any opportunities that come along, then I would definitely not work at the BBC. Why would I turn it down? It's the kind of radio that I would also like to do. I like to talk, I like to communicate. So yeah, I would definitely consider the BBC.
And that's a job application for the future breakfast show on BBC
There we
Radio
go. There we
Humberside.
go.
If Curvy ever gets promoted to Radio 1, which I think he might do.
Yeah, we'll go over and do that then once Kofi's gone to Radio 1.
Because I think, to be honest, he's a good friend of mine, and I think he'll go on to bigger and better things in the future, because he's that sort of bloke who's got the talent for radio, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'd give him a reference for Radio 1.
Good lad.
Question 4. How has COVID affected your life and line of work?
To be honest, Ben, and this is a really weird thing to say, I've not enjoyed COVID. You know, that's the wrong word. I've not enjoyed it, but because I'm not socially brilliant, because of the Asperger's that I've got, I don't like crowds. I don't like busy places. I've actually quite liked it being quiet, to be fair with you. In general life, you know, it's been quite nice not having to be in crowds and crowds of people. So for that aspect, but I am bored of it now. I do want my life back, like many others. You know, I think I'm ready to want to go to places again. I want to go on holiday. I want to do things without having to have a restriction there. It's really getting tiring now. But work-wise, obviously, it affected me massively, because where I was working on Greatest Hits Radio, because of COVID, there was program schedule changes to try and do extra programs for the pandemic. So I was pushed onto overnights, and unfortunately, you know, the whole thing got turned on its head. So it did affect me massively, unfortunately.
And COVID has knocked back, because the radio cuts that were due for a couple of years' time, have had to be brought forward due to the COVID, I think. Some radio cuts, I think, that were due for a few years' time that have been brought forward due to the COVID crisis.
Of course, yeah, because commercial radio, of course, relies on commercials and clients and people spending money on adverts. And if there are so many companies that haven't got any income themselves, they're not going to advertise, are they? It's a knock-on throughout the whole media business, really. It affects everybody.
And I take a contract anywhere in radio, but my loyalty at the moment, just to get my skills up and stuff, is local radio with Hull Kingston Radio. And like yourself, I love the local atmosphere, and it's a non-profitable organisation, Hull Kingston Radio, a bit like your Radio Chesterfield.
Yeah, that's right. Radio Chesterfield is something I really enjoy, and it's community, it's connecting with the local people again, which I did in Chesterfield for 12 years on the commercial station Peak FM. So it's really nice to connect with a lot of names that I recognize from, you know, waking them up for 12 years previously, and talking about the area where I live again, which I've not had a chance to do for quite a long time.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And also one of my colleagues, not colleagues, but people who I know from the radio industry, I used to listen to Viking quite a bit back in the day with yourself. Obviously, I don't listen to it as much now because I've become a fan of Radio Humberside, like legends like who used to wake me up in the morning, James Pykos, who used to work at Viking, I believe, Curvy, David Burns, who's one of our presenters over here who does the mid-morning show on Radio Humberside. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah. James Hogarth, of course, legend.
Yeah, Andy Comfort. You get back to your new names, Fiona, obviously, her husband Pete Mills. I used to listen to Millsy and Dan back in the day on Viking.
Oh, right.
And lots of other stations.
You get
I used to
talk
listen
to all of these. I was going to say, you're getting to talk to all of these people that you've grown up listening to. It must be amazing for you.
Yeah, I was nervous about talking to Stephanie Hurst because I used to listen to her on Capital back in the day when she used to do Hursty's Daily Dose and Hursty's Daily Warm Up on Viking. I used to listen to them, and I was quite nervous about meeting her because she was a big hero of mine. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure.
Weirdly, out of all of the stations I've worked at, I've never crossed paths with Stephanie, but I think I'd have been nervous talking to her as well, so don't worry, it's fine.
She was lovely because I got a few pointers from Darren Leafan, and I got a few pointers from Darren Leafan about you. He says you're a good bloke. I don't know if you've ever met Darren. I don't know if you've ever met.
Well, I think I've met him a couple of times, but when I meet him again, I'll definitely be buying him a Greg's steak bake after that comment. So thank you, Darren.
Yeah, because I have a lot of guests lined up, you see, and I'm chatting away again, getting sidetracked. Pete Mills will probably tell me off, lol, joking, but you know what I mean, because I'm chatting away and getting sidetracked again. Question 5. This is the last question on the current list. What advice would you give to young aspiring broadcasters?
Goodness, that's a tough question in the current climate, isn't it? You see, the old days, it used to be just make yourself known to the local radio station, make yourself busy, make sure that you know that they know that you're willing to do any jobs around the radio station. That's how I got in, and that's how many of my friends got in. These days, of course, there's not many radio stations for them to do that. So I would say, just look at what's in the area. Community radio, hospital radio, it's all about enjoying yourself and being part of something that you live and work in. If you can entertain people where you live and work, I think that is really important. So I would say, just if you've got an ambition to do it, follow it through, see how you go. You might love it, you might not even like it, you might think, oh, hang on, this isn't for me. But I would say, if you've got an inkling of wanting to do broadcasting, not just broadcasting, but also within the radio station, like Ben, there's more than just talking. There's bits in the background that people need. It's all about serving the community, and there's jobs behind the scenes that need doing as well, and social media these days. So there's so much you can get involved with radio. So I would say, look into it and see if any bits are for you.
One of my lifelong dreams, actually, is to be one of the first presenters on the BBC with autism, one of the first autistic radio presenters on the BBC. One of my dreams is to be one of them, because my aim is to work for the BBC, but I have autism, so that's quite, how you say, limiting for me. But I'm starting a new show in a few weeks with Simon and Matthew. We Are Autism, I think it's called. And I think you're going to be
I've
one
got
of
autism.
Because
I've got autism, as you know, because I've got Asperger's, which is on the autistic spectrum. Autism sometimes is a good thing. Autism sometimes makes you slightly different, and your brain works slightly differently, and it makes you stand out. And I think it's good. I've spent 30 years in radio with autism without knowing. I only got diagnosed 4 or 5 years ago, and I see it as, it's something that actually gives you more of an opportunity to stand out and be different, and use that slightly different wired brain to your advantage. I think.
Yeah. Sorry. As I say, we are starting an autistic show on Hull Kingston Radio very soon, and I think you're on the guest list, as I've been told.
That's right. Yeah.
Simon,
that's right.
Others, because we're getting you on for the next one. I believe we've already recorded the 2 interviews. We're just recording the first episode later on today, I think.
Yes, I believe so. I remember Simon asking me, so look forward to that one.
Yeah, that's going to be in a few weeks, because that's going to be out as soon as we can because of all this. I think it's probably taking a bit longer due to the Curvy. I'm not sure. Everything's taking a bit longer due to COVID, what it's like in this current climate.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much, Sean, for joining us here on Hull Kingston Radio on the Ben Lister Podcast Radio Show. Join me again soon for special guest Lucy Clark, but for now, please give it up for Sean Goldsmith. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Ben. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
And thank you very much to you guys for listening. And that's a wrap.
That was my interview with the legendary Sean Goldsmith of Peak FM and lots of other different stations. And yeah, some more coming up in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. I also may make audio versions of these YouTube videos to go up on my website, but that'll be in a few weeks, but I'm just sorting that out at the moment. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and do whatever you do. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this filled a gap in your hours. So yeah, more content coming soon, and I hope you enjoyed it. And as I always say, that's a wrap, and BL out.